Hey everyone, it's Zai, and welcome into my 2-year on T update. So obviously a lot has changed in 2 years. My entire life has changed in 2 years, and particularly because of transitioning. So I'm going to talk about the changes, and I'll start from the top to the bottom. The first thing I want to talk about is my hair. Even in the last 6 months, my hair texture has changed a lot. It's a lot more coarse and stiff and brittle, and there is some hair that's falling out. My hairline has changed quite a bit in the last 2 years. It is a lot more masculine now, and I'm okay with it. I do things to prevent this from being lost so much, and I do have a video on that. It's a DHT Blocker Shampoo that I use regularly, and I do approve of it, and it has helped me. There's no way, shape, or form a sponsorship here, so I just want to let you guys know. So I'll link that below if you do think you're worried about losing your hair. Second thing I want to talk about is my face shape. My face shape is definitely a lot different now. It's definitely a lot skinnier, but I think there's still a lot of change to be done. But I'll pull up a little comparison so you guys can kind of see how it has changed over the last couple years. Something I haven't mentioned much because it's been more of something that's happening more recently is I'm getting a lot more wrinkles, and in my defense also I do use minoxidil, so that is definitely contributing. But tea, I do notice, tends to give people more wrinkles, and that's apparently because of the highs and the lows of the hormones. I have a lot more around my eyes. They're nothing bad, and I really don't care at the end of the day, so I just wanted to point that out and tell you guys that that is totally normal and that is likely to happen to you. I've gotten pretty minimal acne, and a lot of the acne I get is actually just from the minoxidil, and I know because when I stop I pretty much don't get any, so I can't really say I relate to many of you with the acne thing, but in my case I don't really get much. So my voice has changed, and I really sure hope so. I think it's even changed a bit in the last 6 months since my last update, so we're gonna do a comparison.
This is my voice pre-T.
This is my voice 1 year on testosterone. This is my voice 1.5 years on T. And this is my voice 2 years on T. So I think quite a lot has changed, and my own perception of myself is pretty odd. It's pretty hard to be objective, but I do like looking back on these things and realizing these things really have changed, so it's really important sometimes to log the changes so you can really appreciate it. If I didn't, I really wouldn't be able to appreciate it to the extent that I do. So, in the last 2 years, I grew a beard, but in the last 6 months since my update, my beard has changed a lot. So from 1.5 years on T to 2 years on T, it's definitely changed a lot. There's a lot more fullness. I'm getting some on my cheeks finally more, and this area has a little bit more, and just generally it's a bit more solid. But also I do want to note that I do minox. I'm not the most consistent. I will have 2-3 month periods where I'm pretty decently consistent, and I'm not saying I'm the perfect person. I do take days off. Every single month I take multiple days off, and I know that has effect on it. However, I do know that this product has really advanced my beard, because right now it wouldn't be quite this much if it weren't for that. However, I know I would definitely still have something going on, so I do want to note that. My mustache hasn't changed very much, but it finally is, and I thank Minox for that in the last 3-4 months that I've been using it recently. Something I do want to point out is my beard hair color has changed a lot. It's a lot more brown and orange and blonde tones. At first, when it was just coming out as these little like sparse ones, back then they were more of a medium brown and more of a, I guess, like a muckier color. So just note that your beard color could change, because those were like transitional hairs, and a lot of these are transitionals, but they're also transitioning in color depending on your genetics. So I want to talk about body changes, including hair and fat distribution, because that has changed a lot in 2 years. 1 year I did see some distribution changes for sure, but in the last year, which is my 2nd year, there's been a lot more changes, so be patient. So things I want to note are my forearms are a lot skinnier. They're like skin. I can pinch them and they're like skin, and they were never like that. My wrists are skinnier. My calves are skinnier. My calves are a different shape. My thighs are skinnier. My thighs are a different shape. My knee area is a lot skinnier. I could feel tendons in the backs of my thighs now that I couldn't feel before because I was thick. My ass area has gotten a lot skinnier, but it's not skinny. It's still very feminine, actually. I just want to point that out. And though that gives me dysphoria, at least my legs and arms are a bit more masculine, and there's just more shape and veins to my arms. So as for my pecs, I kind of really just grew them in the last year and a half, because when I did top surgery a year and a half ago, they were really flat, and here's some comparison pictures to check it out. So they do have some shape more to them now. Your body can and will change even if you don't work out. We see all these trans men that work out when they start transitioning. And what about the men that don't? So I lean more towards the men that don't or haven't, at least not yet much. But I did gain more muscle in my chest and my body as a generalization, but particularly my chest. So where did all that fat go? Because, I didn't really work it off, and maybe I lost a total of maybe 5 pounds, and it came off of my face a bit, it came off of my arms, came off of my legs, and it went to, the belly area, and that's totally normal, and that's what's probably going to happen to you. Body hair. So in the last 6 months, I've actually got more that came up here and more that is filling in here, just in my general chest area. I think I've got more in the belly area. I think I've got changes on the hairs on my arms, which is like hardly changed over the last 2 years, but I'm okay with that. I don't really care for the arm hair anyways. It's cool, but it's also, I'd rather have hair on my torso. So I'm grateful for the hair I have on my torso, which is a good amount. I do want to note some things. Genetics play a really big role in all of these things that have to do with like your body hair and whatnot, including the beard and the body hair. My dad was pretty hairy. He was a bear. He had it like hair all the way. It just came all the way around and just, oh my God. Let me tell you guys, my back is so hairy now. So from 1.5 year to 2 year on T, my back has gotten so freaking hairy. That is probably been the biggest change over the last 6 months. And my beard and my back hair. I'm telling you, and my chest hair. I don't care for the back hair. I actually grew it out for this video just to show you guys, but normally I would trim it, and after growing it out and realizing, wow, it got a lot thicker, I am gonna reshave it. So thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Now to a topic that is even more personal, and that is bottom growth. So when you're on T, yes, you have bottom growth. You basically grow something that looks like a tiny dick. I think mine has grown in the last 6 months. It really just depends on the circumstance when you can kind of tell, because, it's like a penis. It's soft or hard. So pre-T, I didn't have any bottom growth. It was just like how it was. When I started T, it started growing pretty immediately, like within the first week. I'm not even joking. It is the first thing that the testosterone will come after. It will immediately start affecting the organ that is very similar to a penis on your body. So basically what really happened is it kind of grew a dickhead, it grew like a shaft, it grew foreskin, and it's just what we call a T-dick, and it's great, and it feels different. It feels a lot better. It likes different things previously, and TMI, and you can click off if you want, but previously sucking it is like, no, please don't. But now it's like, okay, yeah, that's what you should be doing to it. This is right. This is how it functions. And I want to say after a year on T is when I really realized that. So fun fact about that, like a lot about your sex life can change because of T, and probably will. And it did for me, but at least for the better. And just to be extra, I'm just going to give you guys an idea of how big it is. Obviously, it depends on the state it's in. However, if it's hard, the hardest I've really seen it and the biggest I've really seen it, and there are times when it really is, it's something like this. Like similar to the size of my thumb. And a lot of people will probably think, oh, that's not that great, but I think it's great. And before that, it was basically nothing. And it also just feels different, like I said, so it's really a great time. So I want to finish this off with explaining how I've emotionally changed in the last 2 years. And emotionally, I'm a lot happier, but that's not like a direct response to the tea. That is a secondary response from me feeling honest with myself and feeling better about myself and true to myself. Not much has changed about me emotionally. Before tea, I was a brick, and now 2 years in, I'm still a brick. Really, seriously. Not much has changed about me emotionally other than, like I said, the secondary effects like happiness and euphoria and just feeling like yourself. But like literally from injecting the tea, some people will get upset or more irritable, and I did for a small period of time, but that's just like adjusting, or maybe your levels are off for that week, month, period of months. But as far as I can tell now, I just am very similar to how I was pre-tea, except I just am honest with myself. I'm more open and I'm happier. So that is my video. If you have any questions, please drop them below. I'm more than happy to answer anything. And if you found it useful, definitely hit the thumbs up, save it to a playlist, something like that, you know, for future reference. And you can always contact me via Instagram at sometypeofgay. And thank you all for being here for this ride, and look forward to more of my videos. So I appreciate you all, and peace out.